Hello, once again, Niner Faithful, and welcome back to another episode of 49ers Playbook. And this time it's a 49ers preview of a big time matchup against the Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia. So let's get at it and jump to the film. You're watching Johnny Dell's Football Academy. First, I want to give a big shout out to none other than Brett Coleman. He just released a phenomenal video looking at Vic Fangio's scheme. I will tell you, use that as a primer for this episode. So stop whatever you're doing here, pause this video. I have a link to his in the description. Go watch it and then come back and watch this, and it will help everything make a little bit more sense. All right, so welcome back. If you went and watched Brett's video, one thing he did a really good job of illustrating was the different names of the defensive calls in Fangio's system. Specifically, one he referenced, cover 9. It is a weak side rotation of a cover 3. I've seen this with Fangio for years, going back to his time here with Harbaugh. He loved to run a lot of cover 9, and you see this over and over again, especially on first down. So he loves to give these split field presentations, and that's what makes these so difficult, is that he can give you those, and then but he can also come with so many single high structure defensive calls from that split field presentation. So here, the Chargers, they're going to bring a guy in motion to a 4-by-1, and you're going to see they're going to take Mike Epps and they're going to bring him down as a post snap, a week 9 rotation. And I've watched 4 different games. Every clip I'm going to show is from the Chargers game, because I felt like that was the closest team as far as how they're built, the offense they run, to the 49ers, and how I think that Fangio would go about attacking the 49ers offense most. And but I watched a number of their games, and it looks like Fangio. I mean, Fangio, his defenses look a certain way. He runs these things and he runs them really well. So one thing when this happens is that you're going to have these safeties come down on a weak side rotation. So what that means is your 3 techniques on that weak side, a lot of times they will slant into more of a 2-eye post snap. And so you have opportunities to go get these guys in the run game. Where running backs have to be ready is, if you can't win here, you've got to cut back with conviction, and it's got to be decisive and soon, because when you have a 3 option here for a wide receiver screen, you're going to get some lanes on the backside. This is something Christian McCaffrey, they're probably going to be working with on his preparation during the game plan of, you need to be ready for these because it will be there. It's there early. You're going to see they hold this up. They're not able to get leverage there. And because you're going to have that weak side safety coming down really hard, this running back's got to be ready to cut that up in this lane early. He presses the hole a little bit too long, and by the time he tries to make this cutback, they have the backside edge is going to crash that down and take it away. So you have to run these with conviction. If you're going to run at the weak side safety, you've got to be ready for those cutbacks, because again, this guy is going to play split the center and guard on things towards him, because he's got this safety coming down to his side. And that's what you see here. He's going to split these. They're trying to wash him down, but you're not going to get that seal off block. They need to cut this up with conviction, get it up in the hole. It's a little bit late. There is a little bit of a crease, but you've got to be able to get production on first down against these runs. So here we are, first down again. And you're going to see now what they're going to do is they're going to say, okay, we're going to make this look like a wide zone. They're going to change the strength here. So you're going to end up with the boundary side, this side being the weak side rotation. You're going to get Blankenship's going to come down. Now, a lot of times too, what they'll do on the back side of these, when they run this weak side rotation, is these 2 guys are going to be in a man match on the 2 receivers. So if these guys go vertical and they don't run insert blocks, which is a lot of times what we see is these guys come in here and try and get that. If they don't do that, then these guys are going to end up carrying with filling with depth, and that gives you some space. And so what LA is going to run here is they're going to run split zone. They're going to make this look like a wide zone, and then it's going to come back. This tight end is going to come over, and then he needs to come back and go block somebody with conviction. Does not do that on this play, but there's still the cutback lane here. This is meant for a cutback. This is a a zone that's going to attack from the inside of the center out, and they're going to work that. That is the goal of this run, and you see it's there because they've gained depth with these two receivers, so you have a lane for a big run that the Chargers were able to get. That is one way that you can attack this cover 9. It does have some weaknesses, and that is one area where you can attack it, because they're going to have these safeties. If you can put him in conflict with a wide receiver out there, then this edge is going to be a little bit softer. So you can go and get some runs against it. That is one way I expect Kyle Shanahan to look to attack and challenge Fangio pretty early. One thing you do have to be careful of is that thinking because these guys have such a quick trigger, you're just going to try and run play action and hit something in behind them all the time. That's it. They're really good at taking that away, but you do have some opportunities if you run play action to get some stuff between the hashes and the numbers. Short, that is where you can kind of attack things, because these guys have a quick trigger. You can watch Reed Blankenship here. Watch his trigger here. It's big time. They fire away and they run downhill. That's why they like these weak side rotation safeties. They want them coming downhill against these kinds of runs, and they fill with a lot of integrity. They get everybody in their lanes and they give you nowhere to run. So they are very good at maintaining their lane integrity, and they drew a holding penalty on LA on that play. So you're going to see it. Here comes the motion, turns it into a weak side, and now they try and hit it, but they just can't really get a lot of movement. One thing that you can use on top of the misdirection runs, utilize the short passing game. If we go back to the Harbaugh days, one thing that many 49ers fans were always actually frustrated with Vic Fangio about was giving up so many underneath runs, underneath throws, so many quick game passes. And here, what you're going to get from the Chargers, they're going to run a little spot or snag concepts. You're going to get a corner route here from the tight end. You're going to get a spot or snag route from the wide receiver, and then a flat route. So this is a spot or snag concept, and it's a good way of challenging what Fangio likes to do. So one thing you're going to see with this is the safety's going to come down on the weak side. So that means Blankenship's going to drop out. This is Bond. He's going to be the flat guy. And then that's going to put their other linebacker, Nakobe Dean. He's got to first protect the seam. They want to squeeze these seams because Blankenship has to retreat back this way. They want to protect a seam from just being hit right away as he is retreating. So he has to carry the seam for at least 6 to 8 yards before he can come downhill. And that's what LA is attacking here, is they're going to draw Bond out. They're going to push Dean vertical with this corner, and then you're going to get this spot and snag route open. This is one way that you can get it. Quick passing game, attack what they're doing, and see Herbert, he's reading this out and he sees, okay, he's carrying the seam, he's flying out on the flat, so this route's going to open up. And good anticipation throw here by Herbert. You see him in his windup as the receiver is just going to be breaking in, and that's how you create space in here against this weak side rotation, cover 3 or cover 9. That is what we call this. And that is one way that you can consistently attack this and try and force Fangio out of bringing these safeties down with conviction and with speed at the snap, so that you can open up your run game back up and keep that going on first down, keep production on first down, so that it gets you out of the trouble that you can get into against Fangio and that defensive front when you're in second and long, third and long. As he's going to be focusing on the trip side, that puts the backside in a matching man. So you're going to get these guys basically in man coverage. And then with a cover 4 with a cross keying safety to the other side, what LA has here works really well. Herbert has to be a little bit more decisive on this. I don't know if he was expecting a different coverage, but they're going to run a little interference route here where it's going to come up, stop, and he's going to run a little basic, and then they're going to run their their running back, sorry, I was having a little brain fart there, on a choice route. And so this is something that Christian McCaffrey and the 49ers, they run their versions of choice. The way that the 49ers run this is they run this as a corner route with a choice route underneath it. And the idea is that you will run this interference. And when your guy's in man on your running back, as he's coming out, he's got to choose, am I going to stay inside the interference or am I going to go outside the interference? And that determines where the running back will break on this choice route. And they have it available here for a bigger gain. Herbert's a little indecisive, and they're also missing some details here. They want this receiver to push a little bit more vertical. They want to get this linebacker just a little bit more vertical, because they do have an opportunity here to create some serious space on this if it's in time and they're on their details. So as you see, it's coming out. You see the interference on this. You can see Kobe Dean is coming over the interference. So that's going to be an in breaker here. So you need this receiver to push more vertical and attack, because you need to get that linebacker retreating just a little bit more, create space so that if he's going to turn and try and sandwich you, that you're going to be able to get a catch and run and split this, because you're going to run this deep. You're going to run these deep and try and get this safety pulled out of here. You should have an ability to open up the middle of the field on this. Is that as this breaker comes across, you can pull this safety and you're going to get this breaking open. But Herbert's got to let this go right now. It's got to be out of his hands so that you can take advantage of this. And again, this guy's got to be up a little bit more vertical. And you should see this linebacker up in here. You see the safeties turning. They've got to threaten this safety a little bit better and pull this out. If you get that, you get a catch and run in here, and you have a chance to get in for a really good gain. Again, you can see how it's starting to play out here. If this guy's a little bit more vertical, if he's catching the ball right here, he's got a chance to catch and run against these guys with their hips turned. He's not going to be able to make that play. You're really only between you and the safety that can stop you from getting into the end zone. Maybe this guy comes over, but you're still going to get a nice gain. It's a little sloppy here from the Chargers. They get a little pressure, and Herbert's going to then bail out here, but he really needs to hit this quickly and get a decent gain there. It's just not quite how you want to see it work out. I expect the 49ers, if Fangio comes with a heavy dose of tricks, to run a lot of these choice on the weak side. It's going to be an interesting question and answer session in those scripted plays that Shanahan's going to have. He's going to give presentations of this simply to find the answer. Are you, Vic, willing to run tricks and get our running back on your on your linebackers? Do you trust Nakobe to cover Christian McCaffrey? Okay, so another way that you can really attack Fangio on a lot of these is a lot of times these outside corners in these coverages, once this number one goes vertical with any sort of depth, they will just transition to man coverage. That these guys are going to be in man on the outside, and they have their zone rules here to account for number 2 and number 3 and the number 2 in here. So that does give you an opportunity if you believe that your receivers can win on some of these out routes and your quarterback can make this throw with really good timing. If you're getting a lot of these split safety presentations, understand, and this is something that Brock Purdy and the offensive staff is going to work through, understand that oftentimes if you run an 8-yard out route or a 10-yard out route, that outside corner is going to be in man coverage. So it's going to be a zone call, but there will be man coverage on that. And so you need to be able to hit some of these far hash out route throws. And Brock is honestly one of the better quarterbacks in this league at making those throws, because he throws it on time, in rhythm, before the defensive backs can recover. If they start knocking him out of his rhythm and he's not getting these throws out on time, that's where it becomes a problem, because he doesn't drive the ball real hard. But you have opportunities there because Brock throws with great anticipation. He's going to hit his back foot and then the ball's out, very much like Herbert is here. He's back foot and he's in his windup. So he's going to hit this out route. As you see, it's transitioning into man coverage. These guys have to read it out and then transition to man. That will give you some opportunities for these out routes. Again, going back to the Harbaugh days, this was something that drove 49ers fans absolutely nuts back in his day with us, is that teams were constantly hitting these little out routes, and people would go, why are we giving up these out routes? Well, that's just a nature of Vic's defense. He's going to give you those 4, 6, 8 yard out routes if you want to take them in different coverages. And when he's showing you these quarters safeties, you can guarantee those out routes are going to be there. This is third down, and it makes it where you can provide other route and concept options as long as you bake something like this in, and you have a Juwan Jennings. If Ricky Pearsall can go, I'm not sold that he's going to be able to play in this game, but Juwan Jennings has been very effective at these. Kendrick Bourne has hit a couple of them. Demarcus Robinson has hit a couple. They've hit a couple with him. I really expect it to be George Kittle and Juwan Jennings are going to be the two guys they use on these, because those are the two guys that Brock has the best timing and chemistry with on these throws. He throws it way early before they're going to break. And when you can do that, it gives you a big time advantage on these throws, and you can make it, and you can pick up some easy first downs, keep the offense moving, and keep you moving down the field and with the ball, not giving the ball back to the Eagles offense and putting more stress on your offense. So this is going to be a throw that I expect Brock, and we're going to need to see him make several times, is that far hash out route throw on time and deliver it. All right, so if you watched Brett's video, he highlighted this play in particular, and I'm going to highlight something a little bit different about it. This is late in the game, and this is how Vic and company took away Ladd McConkey by protecting against a corner route here with a cover 2 safety, playing way outside leverage and having a cloud corner that could gain depth and get underneath that, while then having Cooper DeJean match him down the middle of the field. And so it was really nice design for them to maintain leverage and not ask anybody to play anything other than a one-way go. Meaning, what Vic does so well is he sets these up to where your Cooper DeJean doesn't have to try and play an outbreaker. He doesn't have to try and play it as an outbreaker. That's somebody else. He doesn't have to try and play it as a vertical. That's somebody else. The only route he's really got to worry about is a deep post route. And so he's only got to play one position of leverage and take away that specific route. If this is going to break fast inside, you have another linebacker under here. And what they're doing here is, again, they're also cross keying the backside safety so that if this guy goes vertical, and that they can hand him off, and the underneath linebacker can pick up Ladd McConkey should he come on an underneath inbreaker. So this is a really nice way for them to take him away, and you can see Herbert is wanting to go there, but this is doubled. They've got him capped. You can't make that play. But what you can do is, because you have this safety cross keying here, and you have this guy has had to deliver his route vertically, you're going to have the running back leak out late and break open. The protection is held up decently well. You can step up a little bit. You can make this throw, and this could be a huge gain at this point in the game. You get it to your running back. Now he's in a foot race with Bond, and that's what you want to do. You at least gain positive yards. Instead, he tries to go for the home run ball down here. That's a tight window throw against a guy who's got some wheels here in Cooper DeJean, and he's only playing the post route. So that's tough. I mean, that's just a tough throw. If Brock tries to make this kind of throw, we really get on him and say, why didn't you take the underneath throw? It was there. This is a situation where Brock's got to be patient. Let this develop. You work here. You hit this coming right out of his break, and you're going to have an opportunity there for Christian McCaffrey, who leads the league in broken tackles. If you get him one-on-one in that kind of space, you will end up with something really positive. And then this is the very next play. You're coming with this quarters, half. And now because they have Ladd McConkey out wide, they're going to play this as quarters, and then they play the half on the other side. And they're also, again, going to cross key this. So this is very much what they talked about, right? The check of him as number one, it was going to be quarters, half. When he's in as number two, it's going to be half, quarters. You're seeing that in action here. Another example that you're going to get this out route is going to be there. Herbert's got to hit this throw. Now he's under a lot of pressure. He's going to get whacked right when he throws this, but it's there. If he can make this throw, that 10-yard out route will be there. You've got to consistently hit it. It's not, I'm not saying it's easy, but this is one of the keys to the game. Now they got pass interference. This is what they ended up drawing that penalty there. But this is something Brock and Juwan Jennings, Brock and Kittle have got to routinely hit this throw. They will give you opportunities for it to be there. All right, so another example here where you're going to see the Chargers are in 3-by-1, and so as we would expect and what we've seen is that the Eagles are going to be in cover 4 tricks. So you're going to get a safety cross keying to the backside. That means that you are in man coverage here on this, and like I said earlier, you have opportunities for this if your offensive line can hold up. They've got to hold up. Here they're going to do a little chip and then release. And Herbert's going to have to buy some time here. That's going to be what Brock's going to have to do. But if he can buy some time, he needs to be on alert. They need to run this drill this week. Be on alert that as these develop, you will be able to leak a running back out to the weak side. They are there. You've seen it a couple times. There's a couple other clips that I haven't shown just because it kind of gets repetitive here where there's opportunities for that. And there it is. Herbert finds his guy, and now you get an explosive. And that's what that's one of the challenges of cover 4 tricks is that it does have weaknesses of when you're running as quarters and trick safety, is that now you are one-on-one backside, and if your guy cannot handle and stay on this running back going to the weak side, that you have opportunities. You can run this guy off, you can run these guys off, and there's nobody backside. So this is again why I say I will be a little bit surprised if Fangio comes with a heavy diet of this versus us because of the matchup of Christian McCaffrey as a receiving threat. That becomes the X factor in this game of how you can attack what Fangio likes to do, because he really loves to account for 3-by-1s with cover 4 tricks. But now who are you going to ask to match up against Christian McCaffrey in that defensive call? So this is where, if there's an equalizer in this game where the 49ers clearly with the injuries and everything are right now, they're 6-point underdogs. This is the equalizer, is that you can take away one of Fangio's favorite tools and one of their defense's tools against 3-by-1s because you have a Christian McCaffrey. And so Kyle Shanahan is really going to be asking this question. There's going to be a lot of things based around that. I expect to see a lot of when in their passing sets of 3-by-1 to challenge this. And if they can't run that, how are they going to go about accounting for 3-by-1 sets if not with tricks? So that's one challenge. The other challenge that you have on offense is you've got to do some of the you have to not do what they do here on the second play. You have to do what they do here on the first play. You have to make sure that you are in the correct runs and that your run checks are solid and you don't misidentify. So here, what Herbert's going to see, they started in a pistol, and he sees I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blockers to the left side of the center, and the Eagles, they have 1, 2, 3, 4 defenders. They got a corner back, they got a safety back. So those guys, we don't worry about them as much because they are back. We will be able to account for them as the run goes. And so he's going to check this. They're going to go under center. You're going to see he's going to take one step out, and they're going to run a toss zone out here. They're going to run this as a wide zone toss, and they're able to get a good pick up here because they're able to get numbers in the blocking game. They're able to seal everything off, and they're able to hit the edge. Okay, that's a fantastic check in the run game. You get 10 yards in the red zone to set you up at goal to go. Okay, here's now later. This is on a different drive. You're going to see same thing. They're in the pistol. Now, this is not good check in the run. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys to the left of the center, and the defense has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because now you're close to the end zone. This corner is playing a little bit shallower. The safety's down here, and you've got a linebacker sitting right over the center. So you don't have numbers in the run game anymore because they're able to bring this over. They're +1 to you in the run game, yet we're going to see they're going to make the same check in the run game. He's going to give the silent count, and then he's going to check to the run. And you see, here he goes, 1 step out. This is the same play, same check. They think they got it, but now you can't account for a guy in the run game. And that becomes a problem. So you've got to correctly identify numbers in the run game. One, I think Philly's just ready for this. They saw it earlier. You can't go to the well too many times here, but you're going to see the big problem here is that they don't have a way. They're going to kick this corner out. They're going to get up here. They're going to then come and try and block the backside. They have no one there that can account for Reed Blankenship filling the hole. And so it is a tackle for a loss. You can't have things like that against the Eagles. There's one thing when the Eagles just beat you because they've beat you in technique or whatever. It's another thing when you blow your assignment. Okay, so we've talked about you've got to get production on first down against their cover 9, that you've got to hit some of these out routes. You've got to be able to attack their cover 4 tricks. You've got to correctly identify numbers in the run game. Now, these are all things I'm not saying are easy. These are things you have to do. If you don't do these things, you will not have an opportunity to really score points, move the ball, and this is wild card. It is win or go home. Another thing you're going to see is Brock is going to have to try and make some plays with his legs. They will have opportunities here. The way that Fangio and the Eagles play their defense a lot, so often they're going to keep eyes on these receivers. You're going to see a lot of things are based upon the releases of these receivers. And so you will have opportunities where they're going to take their eyes off the quarterback. Their defensive tackles like to rush outside. You're going to have opportunities for Brock to step up. And if they give you these lanes, go and take it. Here, Herbert is able on 3rd down. This is 3rd down to go and pick up a first down with his legs. Brock has got to be able to make some plays like this. I think he's got a little bit more burst than Herbert does. Brock's not a track star in any way, but he can make these kind of plays. You know, Herbert can make this. Brock can make this too. And so he can go pick up these first downs like that. You're going to see another opportunity here that they get a little aggressive on this rush. They're going to get eyes on the receivers. And now they're playing man coverage in a blitz. They're trying to manufacture more pressure when they don't get home. Here, Herbert's going to step up and take off. And now he's able to go run. You do have these opportunities against Fangio's defense. If you can break that first wave of a rush, there will be opportunities for Brock to go pick some things up with his legs, and he has to be able to do that. There will be a number of times in this game, if they want to be successful, where Brock's going to have to pick up a first down with his legs. It probably, I think Brock has to pick up 3 or 4 first downs with his legs for the 49ers to really be successful. If he can't do that, they're getting home, they're crashing down. That's going to be a really tough day for the 49ers. Another thing here is you can't beat yourselves with just silly mistakes, especially along the offensive line. These mistakes just become hard to kind of wrap your mind around. So here, you know, they do come with a lot of different zone pressures and different 5-man pressures. Here they're presenting a blitz to the left side. All right, well, you keep a Marion Hampton in here. He's gonna block if there's a blitz off that side. So you've got, between guard, tackle, and running back, a way to account for 3 different threats. You've got 3 versus 3. On the other side, you have a slot who's capped with a safety, And so you have a potential for a slot blitz. You have a potential for a linebacker to come. He's not accounting for anybody in the passing game if it's man coverage. You've got then 2 down linemen. So you've got 4 rushing threats to your right. So you would expect this to be a line slide to the right, where the center is going to slide to the right. You're going to have the guard and tackle. And then if they're going to read this inside out, so if he comes, then the center is going to pick him up. The guard's going to keep eyes on him. If this guy comes, then he's going to pick up the number 1 outside threat. And then you're going to have a 2-1 look out here, that if this guy shoots inside, you're going to pass him off. If this guy comes off the edge and this guy comes at you, then you're going to block inside out. And so if they come with a blitz, this is the guy that they're going to let come free, and you're going to have some sort of hot answer, maybe an adjustment out here. It would be the idea against pressure. So you should have a line slide to your right. But here, I don't understand what the Chargers are doing. They're going to run a line slant to their left. So they're going to get 4 pass blockers against 3 potential rushers. Now, once they see the line slide, this is Nakobe Dean. He's going to be able to just come on a blitz free through the A gap. This is just a blown protection. This is not how you set these protections up. There should not be a free rusher coming at your quarterback. And this is one that is just, you can't beat the Eagles if you are beating yourself as well. And so you've got to get your protections right. This has got to slide to the right. You are keeping a running back in to block. This is something that is not on the same page here with this protection, just to allow a free rusher right at your quarterback. That's just bad football and bad preparation there. So, the Eagles are too talented. You cannot miss things like this and give them an easier time. That's a really bad recipe for success if you want to then still be alive after this week in the playoffs. The Chargers offensive line has got a lot of struggles. And then here you're going to see a similar thing. Okay. They need to, they should have a better plan here. You're just going to get, this is Nakobe Dean come blasting through. He presents right before the snap that he's going to be there. And there should be a check here to have the center slide or, something in there. This guy needs to meet him with a little bit more conviction and authority, because he just gets blasted out of there. You don't have a proper protection scheme here, because they don't bring 5. They bring only 4. So you should be able to block this down. You block this down. Once this guy comes down, you're going to slide this way, pinch everything in, and you pinch down. They don't have a good edge on you by their alignment. They are aligning this way for a reason. So you need to be able to do that. If they come with this guy, you allow him to be unblocked. Plus, you're also going to have this running back on a scan. If they bring him, he's got to go pick him up off the edge, but you should still be able to bring that up. Having this as your plan is not a great idea, and it ends up being a huge reason this game ended the way it did, because now you have forced a turnover because you let this guy just come right in. It's one thing when you are just beat by them. It's another thing when you are schematically unsound when you go that. You cannot do that versus this Eagles team. They're too talented. Vic Fangio is too good of a defensive coordinator. This is not going to be an easy game for the 49ers at all. But if they can do these things that I've been talking about, that is how they can have a path. I know Eagles fans are probably going to get in here on the comments on this stuff and tell me I'm full of it. I'm crazy that the 49ers have zero chance in this game. That's the way Eagles fans are, and bless you for being that way. More power to you. But for 49ers fans, this is the clearest path to scoring points against that defense. That is the number one challenge. I know we have our own issues on defense. They're going to be trying to do a lot of things to slow down the Eagles. What Saleh is exactly going to do, I'm not actually sure in this game, because the Eagles offense creates its own different issues and things that are going on because of some of the struggles they've had on their side. Because of that, that one, I don't really know how that's going to work out. But as far as Shanahan going against Fangio, this is going to be just absolute cinema of football, and it'll be real fun to watch and see these two guys going against each other. But if you like the channel, if you like the video, subscribe, add it on there, hit the notifications bell, give it a thumbs up, give it a like. And thank you to all of our members of JFA49.com who have supported every bit of content this season. It's their support that makes videos like this possible. This video is going to get demonetized almost instantly, and I'm going to have to go through a dispute process and probably not make anything off of it. But it's the community at JFA49.com who makes this video possible, and content like this all season long. Thank you so much for your support this season. It has truly kept the channel going. It's not too late to jump on board. If you'd like to just give a one-time thank you for the season, but you don't want to sign up for a recurring payment, I get that. I'll have a link for that. There's a PayPal link in there if you would like to support with a one-time donation. I sure appreciate it. Thank you so much for everything. But until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, go Niners.